Hey, Debbie Pierce here. I wanted to talk to you today about perspective. Before I do that, I just want to apologize ahead of time. I can't find the clicker for turning my recording on and off, so I have to touch the screen when I'm done. Very annoying, I know, but it is what it is. Okay, perspective. So my last blog was on perspective, and I've been thinking about what I want to say about this. And it's not going to be anything earth shattering, okay? But first of all, why do we need to change our perspective? Well, if you recognize that there are situations in your life or relationships in your life that you are stuck in, or you're stuck in the way that you view them. Maybe you're really embracing a lot of negativity here, um, feeling stressed, feeling overwhelmed, feeling conflicted, angry, even bitter, then a perspective change is probably absolutely essential to you. So that's the why. How do you change perspective? And what can you gain from changing perspective? Well, changing perspective requires you to do some things differently and to think some things differently. And the benefit of changing perspective is that there really are only three things that you have control over ever in any situation. And it's not the situation itself. And I know you know this, but it bears repeating. So, in my counseling language, we like to call situations triggers. So whenever somebody says or does something that tweaks you mentally, emotionally, physically, it's a trigger, right? It starts this cycle of thoughts, feelings, actions, and reactions, and around we go. And to the degree that we feel powerless to change the situation, we give up control of how we think and feel and how we behave. So if you catch yourself saying things like, I just can't help how I feel, or that person makes me so angry, or I feel so frustrated by this situation, but I can't do anything about it. Well, that's not actually true, okay? While it may be true that you can't change the other person or you can't change specific things about the situation, you can change the way you perceive the situation, what you tell yourself about that situation, and then how you emotionally respond and behaviorally respond to the situation. So, perspective is something that you have a lot of control over, and it can actually change the outcome of that situation by just simply taking charge of, again, what you think, feel, and how you choose to respond to it. So, the first thing that you do in gaining a different perspective is to really stop and do a self-analysis of what you're telling yourself. And I like to use the question why when I do this, because I'll hear clients say a lot, I'm so like, this situation makes me feel blah blah blah, but I don't know why, or I keep doing this when this happens and I don't know why. I think when you use why in a certain way, it can be pretty revealing. So when you do this, you want to write out your answers. Every time you are trying to create self-awareness about a situation, you want to write your answers down, because writing it taps into another part of your brain that actually starts structuring and ordering your thoughts and turns on the problem solving center of your brain. Okay, so really, really important that you write these things out, not that you just sit and reflect about them. Okay, this is why I like having clients journal. Okay, write, or just get a notebook and put these things down on paper. So ask yourself things like, why am I so upset about this? Why am I letting this bother me so much? Why does this matter to me? Why am I letting this get under my skin? And I really challenge you to go as deep as you can possibly go when you ask yourself why. Okay, and keep asking yourself why. So as you come up with answers, and you're putting them down on paper, and you come to an answer, ask yourself why again. Why is that relevant to this current situation. So, like, for example, maybe something that your partner says or does means a certain thing to you, and so you always react in a certain way. So you ask yourself, why does that certain behavior really bother me? So then maybe you, in the process of writing, you remember something that happened to you many years before that isn't even connected to your partner, and so you write that down. So then you ask yourself, why again? Why am I connecting this thing that happened to me 25 years ago with my partner? Okay, keep asking yourself why. Really drill down to, where's this coming from, and why am I associating what I'm associating with this current situation? The next thing that you do, okay, hopefully in writing these things out, it's going to create a bit of an aha for you. But now it might also stir up some other emotions, okay? So now what you want to do is you want to give yourself some separation from the thought process and the emotional reaction to that, some separation between the emotions and the behavior, okay? Because a lot of times we just react, don't we? Something happens, somebody says something or does something, and we just react, and it's the way it is, and now we've sort of triggered a whole new situation. Well, if you stop and give yourself a timeout, it doesn't have to necessarily be that way. So how do we do that? Well, sometimes we have to get distance from the situation. We need to go for a walk. We need to go work out. We need to remove ourselves from that person or that environment. We need to pray. You can take what you've written and you can go for a walk and you can talk to God, or you can go to a private room and kneel down and talk to God about it and ask God to help you think and feel differently about the situation. So a timeout can be really essential in helping you to change your perspective. Another thing you can do is you can change up your routine. Part of getting stuck in a rut is that we do the same thing every day without variation. So if you want to change your perspective about any certain aspect of your life, do something differently, whatever that might be. Get up a little earlier, go to bed a little later, go to bed a little earlier, change the way you drive to work. Do something different in the car when you're driving to work. If you normally listen to music, turn it off and be alone with your thoughts, or play a Bible chapter. Do something that is a little bit different from the way that you normally do things. When you do little things that change up your routine, it generates new thought processes in your head. So that also is really important in getting out of that rut. So those are two things. This is getting kind of long, so I'm going to stop now. But those are two things that I really want you to think about is changing your thoughts, the way that you perceive a situation, and writing them down. And then putting some space between the emotional response and the behavioral response. And then throughout the day, how can I create some variation in my routine that will also help me to think and perceive things differently? Next time, I'm going to give you an activity on on changing your perspective, how to look at something from a different point of view. Kind of a fun activity that we've used in the past with clients. I'll tell you a little bit more about that next time. All right, see you later.